Market Michael here. So guys, I want to come and tell you the economic data that just came out, and the consumer sentiment has raised by 1.1 from prior. We were expecting a zero point 0.2 increase, but we got a 1.0 increase actually. Very interesting to see the sentiment go up for April, and this is supposed to be the bad month, and GDP is supposed to increase. Well, I know for a fact that the media is doing a fantastic job at saying that, everything is okay. But is everything really okay? You know, that's really a question for another topic or another day. I would happen to think that it is not the best of situations, guys. And what we're seeing right now are markets getting lower lows, so we're developing a trend here. Whoops. But I'm not sure. This trend might want to reverse right about now here. On a 1 minute, we're peaked out, but uh, RSI is nowhere near the top, and it looks like we want to go green on the MACD for a 1 minute. A 5 minute tells us we are still coming down. MACD wants to curl up. CCI isn't spiked out. RSI is kind of near overbought, kind of not really. Looking at longer time frames, like let's say a 15-minute, uh, the markets, wow, the markets wanted to break through this decreasing strength here. So it's going to take some time for the markets to, on a longer time frame, break through this negative momentum, which could turn ugly and then could start some rapid selling. Um, you know, we're seeing Apple fall through the floor here. Um, Facebook's holding up very well. Netflix is holding up decently. The CCI spiked too much, so there's nowhere for it to go, but it is not overbought. It's right in the middle of the range here. Um, Facebook should be declining more. This still could spell trouble for stocks here. I mean, if we end up getting a really bad day that it reflects on a daily chart, it could possibly reflect on the weekly, and could push down stocks. You see here at this point on the CCI, guys, um, we bounced off it. So previous resistance is support, but this is the CCI. This is going to act a little differently. We are hitting resistance here. I'm just assuming that we're going to break through it. I mean, this is a pretty bad candle, so we would need to start reversing. And I mean, it looks like the S&P has support. Looks like the Dow has support in this triangle. So most likely we are going to look for that breakout. But again, I really can't call this because I'm really not sure about the direction. I mean, again, we could spike up again and just go for a whole nother run here. That's what the hour chart's telling me. We do need a pullback, which is what is happening. But again, that RSI is still increasing ever so much with that pullback increasing, decreasing. So we're just going to have to see. It looks like on the daily, we have bounced off the critical support here, which was resistance, which is now helping stocks move higher. So again, all this is going to have to take into account. I'm just surprised at that consumer sentiment. Gold is starting to crest out. We're starting to peak out here. I mean, it could go more, but I mean, regardless, even still, even if it jumps $10, it's going to hit that peak there. Actually, it's got a 38% at 1326, so it's not likely to go past that. That's critical resistance. Looks like it's so weird. We have the freaking silver chart looking just sideways, complete sideways. The dollar got up a little bit higher. I might as well pull that up because that's something to note. Let's look at the 10-year and let's also look at, let's see, Bitcoin. Whoops. So look at the dollar here, ever so slightly coming down. We should accelerate the downward momentum, but I think there's just no other money for people to put their cash in, so perhaps it's going to the dollar. That would explain the recent rise up. But if we look on shorter time frames, like let's say a 30-minute perhaps, we are again, we are getting that support, trying to come up, trying to blast through this area of resistance. I mean, is it possible? Yes, yes, of course it's possible. Let's look at a 1 minute. A 1 minute's telling us we are, at the tip of this move here. We did get higher highs, it looks like, so that's a positive bullish sign. I suspect that in the 30 minutes we might end up tagging some areas of resistance and getting those higher highs, establishing a move forward. 10-year continues to back off, but it looks like we are going to weaken at the bottom of the CCI. I mean, we're going to strengthen here around this 29.5 mark. Is really, we had this gap up. This is that area, so we're going to continue to go higher, and that next range here is at 34. So that's a pretty critical level. We actually might end up there on a daily chart sooner than later. That way, you see the dollar's going down a little bit. So, and we see here /NQ taking a dive. So we couldn't get those, get get past that resistance, but the major next question is now, are we going to get support? So look at that 10-year, look at that Bitcoin coming up again, but it looks like we're going to enter a downturn. Longer term on a daily chart, I did suspect us to pop up a little bit, but I don't expect us to pass that 9,000 mark unless we happen to, you know, get a double move, which is I don't think it's likely, but it's likely that we'll get some positive days and perhaps, yeah, you know what, we're definitely going to go above this resistance, but I don't think it's going to be a solid 100% continual move. So let's go ahead and check the indices once again to wrap this market view up. On a 1 minute, we are going to hit those lower lows. So this is developing for a negative day, which can impact the direction of stocks going forward. Let's go ahead and look up the Dow. Okay, guys. Again, market's just totally overbought. The pressure is on today. Even with that 10-year declining, I do see some support here. If that's the case, then we're definitely going to end up going higher. The fact that we had a triple bottom, actually one, two, three, yeah, triple bottom indicates that there's massive amounts of support here. The CCI can't go too much further unless we get big drops, and that RSI is still relatively low. So it looks like we're going to get some support. Let's go ahead and put these on. Okay, let's actually look at a daily, because this daily is showing us a continual increase. So we should continue at this a slow, steady pace, whether it's down days, whether it's up days. We should continue a climb up like I suggested earlier today until we hit that overbought level. Will we get a higher high is the question. I don't know. Will we get higher highs in the grand scheme of things? I don't know. I don't think so. But we might end up passing this range of resistance. Okay, so let me look at a shorter time frame. I know the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 aren't doing as strong. But again, we got higher highs, and we do have some support in this region. This is supposed to be a negative downturn, but we are getting positive buying action at this very second. So this could be the moment the bulls are looking for, and could lift these markets up. We're getting possible support here. If not, this could change the outlook for today to be flat or to be more negative. So, with all that being said, thank you very much, guys. I will hope to see you soon. I actually have to leave my office approximately 1:30 to 2 o'clock range, and I won't be able to make any more commentary on the markets. So we are getting a 3 o'clock farmers price index, which is interesting, and you guys should take your time out of the day and try and look that number up. Um, Pretty interesting. It does look like we're getting support. So, on that lovely bombshell, I will see you guys in roughly an hour or so. Take care.